When you stop being available, everything changes. Have you ever found yourself constantly available for others, answering calls, dropping everything to help, and sacrificing your own peace just to be there for someone? If you have, then you might know the feeling of being drained, exhausted, and somehow losing a piece of yourself with every interaction. But here's the thing. When you stop being available, everything changes. Now, you might wonder, why is this so important? What happens when we stop reacting to every situation? When we stop being emotionally available all the time? The truth is, there's an incredible power in choosing silence, in setting boundaries, and in realizing that your energy is precious. This shift can bring a new sense of clarity, peace, and strength into your life. And in today's video, we're going to explore just why and how that happens. Before we dive deeper into this story, let me take a moment to introduce myself and my channel, Buddhist Motivation. Here, we focus on sharing wisdom inspired by Buddhist teachings to help you find inner peace, balance, and clarity in your daily life. Whether you're looking to learn about the art of mindfulness, energy protection, or personal growth, you're in the right place. I believe in the power of this message, and I agree wholeheartedly with the idea that when we stop being available to everything and everyone, we make space for a life that aligns with our true values and needs. It is in this space that we can rediscover our personal power. So, before we get started, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. If this message resonates with you, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. It really helps me to create more content that speaks to your needs and keeps this channel alive with new energy. Your feedback is my motivation to continue making more valuable videos. 1. The illusion of constant availability. We are often taught that in order to be part of this world, we must always be ready to help others, to be present whenever they need us, and never refuse anyone who reaches out. But have you ever stopped to wonder, is this truly beneficial for you? Does this constant availability drain you, leave you feeling exhausted, and make you feel like you are losing yourself? In today's fast-paced world, it is easy to get caught up in the endless cycle of being perpetually available. We reply to messages immediately, meet everyone's demands without hesitation, and sacrifice our mental peace to maintain relationships that are no longer reciprocal. But what happens if you stop responding immediately? What if you choose silence instead of an automatic reaction? Withdrawal instead of engagement? What do you think will change? That's where the point lies. When you stop reacting to everything right away, when you refuse to be constantly available to those who seek you out on a whim, the world around you starts to become chaotic. People who have been used to controlling you through your reactions will suddenly have no power over you. And that's when you discover an important truth. Sometimes, silence is a more powerful action than 1,000 arguments. Non-attachment and inner freedom. In Buddhism, one of the most important teachings is non-attachment. This means freeing ourselves from everything that binds us, from material possessions, emotions, thoughts, and even relationships that no longer serve us. When you stop reacting and retreat inwardly, You are not just protecting yourself. You are practicing non-attachment. You are no longer controlled by the outside world, but are beginning to master yourself. 2. The strength of silence. Silence is not withdrawal, but a choice from awareness. You've probably heard it said that silence is golden. But what does it truly mean when we choose to be silent? Many of us tend to think that silence is a sign of weakness or avoidance. We might think, if I don't say anything, I'm not standing up for myself. But in reality, silence is often one of the most powerful tools we have. It's not about hiding away or avoiding a confrontation. It's about making a conscious choice to step back and reflect. When you choose silence, you're not giving up your voice. You're choosing when and how to use it. You are deliberately removing yourself from the noise and letting the situation unfold without being swept away by emotions. As Carl Jung wisely said, silence can be stronger than 1,000 arguments. When you stop reacting impulsively, you start seeing things from a clearer perspective. You observe emotional patterns, behaviors, and dynamics that you might not have noticed before. This clarity allows you to respond, not react. Your silence can shift the entire dynamic. Imagine how different your interactions could be if you stopped reacting to everything. Whether it's a difficult conversation, an argument, or a situation that drains you. Choosing silence shifts the dynamic in a profound way. People around you who are used to triggering reactions will start to feel unsettled. And you know what? That's okay. It's because your silence forces them to look within themselves, face their emotions, and question their own behavior. It can be uncomfortable for others when they no longer have the ability to manipulate you through emotional reactions. And the discomfort is where real growth happens. When you stop giving people the power to control you through your responses, you reclaim your strength, the power of withdrawal. Let me share a personal story that illustrates this point. A few years ago, I had a close friend who constantly reached out to me whenever she was in trouble. No matter how busy I was or how much energy I didn't have, I would always drop everything to help her. It felt like that's what friends do, right? You're always there for them. But over time, I noticed I was feeling drained. It wasn't just about giving my time or helping her out, it was about my emotional energy. Every time she reached out, I gave her a piece of myself. And eventually, I started to feel empty. I realized that I couldn't continue pouring from an empty cup. One day, instead of responding right away, I decided to pause. I took a step back, let things sit for a while, and didn't rush into helping. I thought about the situation and, for the first time, I realized something important. Silence wasn't abandonment, it was self-awareness. By not reacting immediately, I was protecting my energy. I was honoring my own needs. Her reaction to my silence showed me something too. I wasn't just a source of help to her, I was a person with my own boundaries. And I deserved to protect my own peace. 3. The consequences of being always available and how people exploit you. When you are always available, you start being controlled. Have you ever felt like you're always there for people, answering their calls, helping them out, Being there in times of need only to realize that you're giving so much of yourself that there's nothing left for you. This is a situation many of us can relate to. In Buddhism, there's a profound teaching about non-attachment, which reminds us that nothing truly belongs to us, not our time, not our energy, not our emotions. This includes the emotional energy we give away when we are constantly available to others, when we are always responding to others' needs. We start to give pieces of ourselves away. And over time, this can lead to burnout, exhaustion, and frustration. You're pouring out your energy to everyone around you, but there's no one to refill your cup. And here's the tricky part: when you stop being constantly available, when you decide to take a step back for your own well-being, people around you might start getting upset. They might even accuse you of changing, of being selfish. But the truth is, you haven't changed. You've simply stopped allowing others to take your energy for granted. You've stopped letting them dictate when and how you should give. And that, my friends, is the first step toward taking control of your life again. Freedom begins when you learn to say no. Now, let's talk about something that can be really difficult for many of us: learning to say no. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean you don't care. It's actually a powerful act of self-care. You are choosing to protect your own peace and well-being. And that is something we all need to get better at. We often feel like we need to say yes to everything, because we don't want to let people down. Or we fear that saying no might make others think we are uncaring or selfish. But here's the reality. When you don't say no, you're putting others' needs above your own. You're allowing them to drain you, to control your time, and to dictate your energy. You deserve better than that. Learning to say no is not just about protecting your time. It's about protecting your emotional energy, your inner peace, and your boundaries. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing to take care of yourself. Remember, your energy is precious. And it's okay to decide that you're not going to give it away to everyone who asks. 4. Managing psychic energy. Psychic energy and the importance of protecting your energy. Carl Jung once said that the human mind is like an energy system. Everything we think, feel, and do requires energy. And if we're not careful, we can end up wasting our energy on things that don't serve us. Every time you engage in a pointless argument, every time you try to explain yourself to someone who isn't listening, or every time you try to please people who don't appreciate it, you are draining your own energy. It's easy to get caught up in these cycles without realizing how much energy you're giving away. But over time, this kind of constant drain will leave you feeling depleted, vulnerable, and emotionally exhausted. And here's the thing: when you're drained, you're more susceptible to manipulation. People can sense when you don't have enough energy to fight back, and they can take advantage of that. The key here is to be aware of how much energy you're spending on things that don't truly matter. Not every conversation needs to be had. Not every conflict needs to be resolved. And not every request for your time needs to be answered. By being selective with where you invest your energy, you begin to take back control over your life and your emotional health. Invisible arguments, Let me share a story with you from my own experience. I once had a friend who had a unique way of triggering my emotions. Whenever we disagreed, she would manipulate the conversation, making me feel guilty for having a different opinion. At first, I would react. I'd defend myself, explain my position, try to make her see things from my perspective. But I quickly realized that I was just wasting my energy. It wasn't leading anywhere, and it was only leaving me exhausted. So, one day, I decided to try something different. Instead of reacting, I just stopped. I didn't engage in the argument. I didn't feel the need to defend myself. And do you know what happened? I found peace. For the first time, I didn't feel the weight of trying to prove myself. I didn't feel like I needed to explain everything. Silence didn't make me weak. In fact, it made me stronger. By choosing not to get involved in every argument or debate, I was protecting my energy. And that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I realized that I didn't need to explain myself to anyone. I didn't need to fight every battle. I was allowed to choose my peace over conflict. And that felt incredibly liberating. 5. From Jung's perspective, managing psychic energy is the key to rebirth. Freedom from within. When you start protecting your energy, something amazing begins to happen. You start realizing that you don't need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't need to engage in every emotional drama that others bring your way. You don't need to play into people's manipulative games or try to fix everything. When you become aware of your energy, you can begin to guard it. You become more mindful about where and how you spend your emotional resources. This doesn't mean you shut people out completely, but it means you choose to protect your peace. You stop getting caught up in meaningless conversations. You stop allowing others to drain your energy with their problems or emotional baggage. Buddhism teaches us that true freedom comes from within. It's not about seeking validation or approval from others. It's about learning to master your own thoughts, emotions, and energy. When you stop giving away pieces of yourself, you discover something incredible, your inner peace. And once you find that, you realize that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary for your well-being. As we wrap up today's reflection, I hope you've begun to see just how important it is to set boundaries and protect your energy. When you stop being available, everything changes, and in a way that empowers you to live more authentically, without constantly draining yourself for the sake of others. Remember, your peace and your energy are valuable. You deserve to prioritize them and learn the art of saying no without guilt, of stepping back when needed, and of reclaiming your personal power. If you enjoyed this video and want to explore more ways to nurture your inner peace, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos. Let's continue this journey together. And as always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights are valuable, and they inspire me to create content that truly resonates with you. Thank you for being part of the Buddhist motivation community, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, stay mindful, and always protect your peace.